for some reason we could not get connected to YouTube, but here we are. It's been a busy week and a rather odd one. We had a interesting little event happen this week. Renee took Dot out for her evening walk, and we had just had this amazing downpour. And Dot alerted to something in the middle of the road. And so Renee went over to check it out. And lo and behold, it is a little squirrel, probably, we're estimating in the area of about 4 to 5 weeks old. So he's just wee. He is so cute. Anyway, so the little bugger is now in residence at the Moreau household. We've made trips to the local pet supply and have contacted wildlife preservation about how we're going to care for this little guy. So now we have formula and syringes and God knows what else. One of my husband's hats has been converted into a squirrel nest. And so we have him all bundled up. And now he's taking daily walks with Renee and Dot and rides up on Renee's shoulder. And he is just adorable. But we're kind of hoping that we'll get him strong enough that we can set him free and let him out again. Most of the squirrels in our area are very comfortable around people, so we're not too worried about him being in any risk. But yeah, Renee's gonna pop a picture up because he is so cute. We've named him Peanut, in case you're wondering.
There's Peanut.
He is so stinking cute, and he has an attitude, and he's already spoiled rotten. So, so yeah, there's Peanut. Oh my goodness, he's so cute. But he's about the size of actually, I think he's smaller than a regular red squirrel. So he's just a wee little fella. He's like this long. He has all his fur and all of his plumbing, and everything's where it should be. And he's eating regularly and sleeping regularly and doing all of the squirrely things that he's supposed to be doing at this stage. So, and we're monitoring the wildlife website for next steps, so to speak. So that's been our week this week. I've been designing like mad this week because remember what I said last week about this new membership program that,
I made more work.
He just made more work for me. Yes, he did. But I have been designing like mad, and I've been having a great deal of fun doing it because it's a little different than just designing for a pattern or even for a class. Because we really want to make sure that the members get something really substantial out of this. We want to make sure that the projects that you get are not just a simple project. We want to make sure that you get a lot of instruction, a lot of opportunity out of it, as well as a lot more ability to be creative. So we have our first project for our very first live for the membership program. And so I'm going to give you a sneak peek of that if you're okay with it. It's the hot sauce sign. There's a lot in this just for this one, but there's also a set of ornaments in there as well. Those are really cool that match that. And then there's also the bottle tags, to hang around your hot sauce or your barbecue sauce during the summer. So this is your very first live, is this kit.
Once the membership goes live.
Yeah, once the membership goes live. So just so you know that you're going to get a fairly substantial project on that first one. Well, we're hoping to do that for every live in the membership program. And what was the date we had set for that? Was it the 29th?
Yes.
Yeah, so 29th of May.
I have it written down.
Yeah.
I have it written down.
29th of May, I think.
29th of May, the membership will go live.
Yep.
And their first free pattern for the members only will be available on June 1st.
Yes. So the pattern will be available on June 1st, and we go live on the end of the month. So the end of June will be the very first live. So you'll have about 3 weeks to collect materials and paint colors and all that stuff. So, and that's kind of how we're planning it, so that the pattern will be available well before the live, so that you'll have a chance to get your supplies in should you want to paint along. We've already gotten started on content for the actual private part of the channel for you guys. So we're going to have lots of stuff on there too. And what else did I want to? Oh, we have to say thank you.
Yes.
We have to tell you guys how much we appreciate you coming to watch every day. Now, I know that those little ads that you see in the lives, they can be a little annoying, but they do serve a purpose. And that purpose for us on this end was the monies generated from those ads to our channel provide us with the ability to upgrade equipment, which we have done. So,
Big time.
yeah, we upgraded. We've got one camera is already here. We already got a new camera. And some of the other equipment will be here later in the week, but we've also got a second camera coming. So we're going to have the ability to film at a much higher resolution, so the image quality will be better. And we've also upgraded our software so that we'll be able to actually do more, which is the goal. So any of the revenues that we generate from people watching those ads, you know, instead of hitting the skip thing, any of the revenue that we generate from that, we're putting right back into updating equipment and giving better cameras or more cameras so that we can give you more angles. So we were really excited about that because that ad revenue had generated enough for us to actually go ahead and upgrade our cameras. So that's what we do, and that's all because of you guys, and so thank you. We really do appreciate you coming to watch every Saturday, and we love it that, you know, you don't always skip the ads. So, because that helps us.
Do you have a cost? Yes, the membership is $24.99 a month.
Yeah.
US.
Yep.
Canada, it's $29.99 a month.
Yep.
And once it's up, you'll see everything you get.
Yeah. Once we go live, you'll see everything that you get in there, and it's going to, you know, live classes, lots of videos that you only members have access to. So there'll be more content available to you than is already available. Right now, we do the one video a week, the one live. With the membership program, we're going to have this live, plus members only live, plus there's going to be other video on that as well. So, and not to mention your pattern is free for that live, so you're not having to purchase the patterns. And the plan is that these patterns are going to be much more than a regular pattern packet. So we've been busy.
Where can we find info on the membership? The membership is, once it's activated, the information will be available.
Yeah. And it goes
Sadly,
live on the 29th.
I can't throw it out there. But
Yeah. So, but you'll be able to see it. So on the 29th, when the membership program goes live, all of that information you'll be able to read on that. It's just, we're still tweaking some things, but we're planning and aiming for the 29th.
Oh, there's an excellent question. Will the lesson be recorded? Absolutely.
Yes, always.
Yeah, the live will be archived and available on YouTube through the membership program.
Yeah.
To members at any time.
Yeah. Now, the patterns that we create for the membership program will be available on my website. They will be available for non-members. However, there is a cost associated with it, as always. But for members, that pattern is part of your membership program. So you get that for nothing. So, what else did we want to cover?
I don't know. There's a lot of questions.
Oh, is there? Okay.
This private group is going to be wonderful. Looking forward to all the new content and laughter. I might not be there all the time.
Yeah. A lot of the educational stuff he probably
When can we
won't.
start signing up?
29th.
The 29th will be a live class. I believe it is a
It
Saturday.
is, yeah, it is a Saturday, so you'll be able to participate in this class, and the membership program is going live on the same day, so you'll be able to see all of that information on that day.
And hopefully, if the other camera shows up, you'll get to see a whole new detailed mom.
There's some details here we're hoping we'll hide.
Little
crack
Tracy
filler.
Moreau in high fidelity.
I'm not sure about that.
How long will the membership joining be available? Indefinitely.
Indefinitely, and it's open. So it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about it, Renee and I we've had so many meetings about this. The nice thing about it is that, it's a set price every month, but if you need to stop it for whatever reason, you can.
Yep.
You can do it month to month. So you can opt out at any time. I kind of like that idea that you can just opt out. So he's gone to a lot of work. I make jokes about it being a lot of work for me, but he's done a lot of work to get this all put together. So
lots of research.
a lot of research, and then going, hey, Mom, what about this? And then, yes, or no. But yeah, we've kind of gone back and forth a lot in the last couple of months, especially while he sorts through everything. And
Will surfaces be able to be purchased in a bundle?
no, we're not going to handle surfaces, but we will make sure that you have access to appropriate suppliers and things like that. There is a complete supply list plus sources in that pattern. So, I mean, we've had to put a lot of information into these patterns. So we want to make sure that, and I'm trying as I'm designing to make sure that the surfaces that I use are readily available, easily located. Whenever possible, I'm trying to use surfaces that you can find locally that you don't have to order online. So I'm trying my darndest to make it as simple as possible for everybody. And then including sources so that you know where you can go if you don't have something. So that's been a big issue for me it's a big issue for everyone right now is getting supplies. And getting them affordably is the big thing. I mean, shipping is just horrendous these days.
Okay. Miss Brewer, sadly, you'll have access to the lessons, not the pattern. So if you purchased it in September, you'll have access to previous month's lessons, but not
The pattern. Yeah. Yeah. Because the links to the pattern, they will be active and live. You'll be able to, the minute you become a member, as soon as that pattern is released, you will have access to the link so that you can go and download it. And you have 30 days to download that pattern. After the 30 days, that link disappears. So you have to make sure you download it as soon as it's made available to you.
Where was it? Hit the like button. Yes, hit the like button. Hit
Yeah.
it. Smash it.
And tell your friends to hit that subscribe button too. We're still aiming for that 5,000 number. It's a magic number when you're on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
Drat, my son called. I feel like I missed a lot. So I had to train
we haven't
better.
even picked up a paintbrush yet.
I always feel bad about shipping costs. There's Sheila Landry.
Hey, Sheila. Hey, sweetie, how are you?
We're going to be using a lot of her surfaces.
Yeah, we are. I love Sheila's stuff. These are so stinking cute. Look at these. These are just so cute. I love this surface. These would be so cute hung in a kitchen. So fun.
You were showing it to the top down?
I know, to the top down, like duh. See?
These ones.
These ones. Leave me alone. I'm having one of those
She showed
days.
it to the wrong camera.
I showed it to the wrong camera. Yeah. Hello.
I'm
Lights
surrounded
on.
by monitors, so I know which camera she's showing it to.
Yeah, and all I can see is my face over his shoulder.
Is
And
there a yearly membership fee? No.
That is the one thing that we have not been able to do through YouTube, but the month to month, definitely.
How far in advance will we get the pattern? You'll get it at the beginning of the month, and at the end of the month, you'll get the live lesson on that pattern.
Yeah. So the idea being is that you'll have approximately 3.5 weeks to get supplies and surfaces and whatnot.
Or paint it on your own.
Or paint it on your own if you choose to.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to be live on the 29th. Does that mean we have access to pattern with supply list? We can't paint along that day? No, the membership will go live. That means you can buy into the membership program.
yeah.
The first pattern will be available on the 1st, and then the first membership live will be at the end of
June. Yeah.
So it
So-
gives you a lot of time to.
So you'll get the pattern at the beginning of the month, and the live for that pattern will be at the end of the month. So you'll have about 3.5 weeks to get your supplies and whatnot together if you need anything. So
And Jessica just got her huge order from the brush guys.
Jessica
she's
Potter, which Jessica
Killer.
Killerin.
Yes. And there's Karen Jones.
Hey Karen, hi baby.
All right. I think we covered that.
I think we've covered
Extensively.
everything. We've covered the membership program. We covered the things. I'm so excited about those new cameras, and the reason we can do it is because they've been watching the ads. So we appreciate that so much. And my tummy is growling.
I don't know if the microphone picked it up.
I don't know. I hope not.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, we have giveaways today. That's the one thing I wanted to talk about before we start painting. We have giveaways from TracyMoreau.net. We have giveaways from Dynasty Brush, and we have a giveaway from Southern Ridge Trading. So the giveaway from Southern Ridge is that fabulous wreath heart surface. So there's one of these going to someone. And I have a set of encaustics, the foliage brushes, the angle foliage brushes, and the round. We have a set of those going to one of you. That's in the same brand as my Fugly brush.
Yep.
And then somebody is getting a Craftgasm kit. I know. I love that word, Craftgasm. And we've put a few goodies inside. We've got a little stencil for you, a gel pen, one of the pens from the website, and my favorite Factus black eraser. So we've got a nice little pouch, to keep all your crafty goodies in. So one of you is going to win that too. So we have 3 giveaways for today.
Yay.
Which is fun.
I
And
so want to join the membership plan. I'm so excited for it. Good.
And those Craftgasm bags will be up on the website too. We've got a bunch of those. We just threw a whole bunch of goodies in it. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Cost per month. Everybody's asking.
Okay, that's good.
Oh, thank you, Miss Brewer. I got a bit of marble mouth.
Yep. So today we're going to paint Linda's Gardenia. Now, somebody asked me the other day why it was called Linda's Gardenia. It's simple.
There we go.
Linda is the one that.
It's top down.
Oh, good. See, this one. Okay. So this is the reason I called it Linda's Gardenia is because the lady that inspired it is Linda Safranco. I had asked you guys to give me some ideas about what you wanted to see. And Linda suggested the gardenia because she has gardenias all around her house. And she sent me pictures the other day and showed the incredible flowers. I mean, they're all over the place. They were just incredible. So I painted this for Linda. So that is why it's called Linda's Gardenia. I do like this piece. I think it's very pretty. But gardenia have that incredible heady scent. They're so pretty. They use them in perfume a lot. So this is what we're going to paint. This one is really easy. We've done this background a few times. But it's a few. But we are going to go through it again. I know that it's reiterating a lot. I did change it up a little bit for this one and went with 2 stencils for this background. I used a postage stencil to use that postage stamp thing. And I used one called the Stylized Fleur-de-lis, which is one of my faves. I love this pattern. I've got a stash of stencils here. So somebody asked me about how I keep track of my stencils. Let's try this. One of those bull clips. They're awesome. It keeps them from, running loose and getting bent. But this is the one that I used for this background, is that Stylized Fleur-de-lis. And I used this one, which is that postage stamp. And we just got the shipment. I just reminded myself of something. We just got a shipment of that random polka dot. So we get dozens of them. So if you're painting that what is it? The sunflower one? Yeah, the sunflower, with the white vase with the polka dots. That's the stencil I used, which is that random polka dot. Those are back up on the website now,
Along with a bunch of others.
and along with a bunch of others. So we're all topped up now on stencils again. So we're going to paint Linda's Gardenia. So we're going to need the stencils, which is those, and we're also going to use that grunge stamp set. Oh, that reminds me. You might have noticed we got new stamps in, and they're up on the website too. So I have a new toy to play with this week. Check this out. Look at that.
Oh, you're going to use that?
Awesome.
It's a 6x6. Wow.
It's a 6x6. I just got this. And I got, where's the other one I got? This one is fabulous. So I'm going to be using that one for something soon.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that cool? Looks like
honeycomb
bubble wrap, actually.
Oh, is it bubble wrap?
So I got that in. I've got a few other things coming in too. Those will be here later this week. But we got the grunge sets back in. We got the vintage note back in, which is that, I mean, I use that one constantly. That's my go-to. But that grunge set, I love the grunge set. And I also took a couple of hours yesterday and cleaned my stamps. They were desperately in need of it. The grunge set has this crackle, this swirl, this little one here, and where is the other one that goes with that?
The script?
This one here.
Yeah.
And then this signature one, plus it has that little cancel one. So that's the grunge set. And then this one is the vintage note. And these are my go-tos. I love these ones because, I don't know, they just work for me.
Do you have those 2 new stamps on your site?
This one, not yet. But the other one is. This one is.
They're coming.
And that, like I said, that vintage note is back in stock. That one sells constantly. But I use it in everything and in so many different designs. It's just one of my favorite stamps. I also have these coming in. These ones should be here this week too. I got a bunch of the little mini brayers coming. So those will go up on the website. So we've got our grunge stamps and our stencils.
Push it forward so I can zoom in.
Okay. So we're starting with a little bit of warm white. I know we've done this so many times, you guys can probably do it in your sleep. And I'm going to use that mini brayer to roll the paint out and load up my brayer. I'm going to start with the vintage note. I love this stamp. I don't know what it is about handwriting that just appeals, but... So I've loaded it just with regular Americana paint. And I don't use the whole stamp when I press down. I just sort of use a portion of it because I kind of like it to sort of run out a little bit. There we go. So that's the vintage note. I like this scrolly one too. I just like the pattern. And it's airy. And it's imperfect. It's not, a solid line.
Oh, Sandy McTeer.
Hey, Miss Sandy.
See, you get a little blue wrench. I thought it would be a crown. I lied. I'm sorry.
Miss Sandy is one of our moderators. Thank heavens.
So, everybody on their best behavior. She's going to lay down the law.
So I'm just putting a little bit of this wherever I want to so that it eventually just sort of fills up that space. I don't want it solid, but I like this one.
Oh, Miss Faye Reed is going to help her hubby cut some trees.
Well, it'll be recorded, Faye, so you can
come back anytime.
Come back anytime. I love it. And then there's this one. I love this. This has got what looks like cracked paint. And you can put this wherever you want. You don't have to put all of it on either. I mean, you can pick and choose. It doesn't matter if they overlap with other things.
Oh, it's Faye Reed's birthday.
Oh, Faye, happy birthday. And she's going to spend it working on trees.
Hey.
Hey, needs must.
Yeah.
Crap's got to get done. So I'm just using that little canceled stamp. I don't know what it is about canceled stamps. Both Sandy and I are kind of obsessed with them. Can you pass me that stack of postage, the little ones?
Oh, yes.
So you've seen the little sunflower, like we did the little sunflower stencil as our freebie. This goes out whenever somebody places an order that we have to ship. If it's stencils or stamps or printed patterns, we always toss one of these in with their order and just, so they get a little freebie. And we've had enough of them that we've got quite a little set going, which is kind of fun. And then I was chatting with my girl Sandy the other day, and she said, we really need to do one that's postage for the M square. And so we did a smaller version of that canceled one. So it's a 3x3. Actually, it's about 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, so that we could get it all on there. So that'll be the little freebie. So whenever you place an order with stamps and stencils and whatnot, those little freebies go in. We still have some of the sunflowers, so those will be going out too.
Those go out first.
Those go out first. So, but we just like to make sure that there's, some sort of a little gifty included in whenever you're ordering things. And we try to get them out as quickly as possible. Nothing really sits here for more than 24 hours unless something is,
Really back-ordered.
unavailable or back ordered. And we don't like to hang on to those for too long. So, and Sandy taught me something the other day because, I've only been using this brayer for like 5 years. And the other day, Sandy did something on one of her lives that made me slap my forehead.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Let me
I'm
guess, it has
telling you,
something to do with those nubs on the end.
it does. Yeah, you can actually take this thing apart so that you don't have to frig with it. And look. You can take it apart and just wash this instead of like me for the last 5 years, had the whole damn thing whole darn thing
Damn
in the wash basin. You're never too old to learn something, and apparently I just blanked on that one. But and I should have known because all my bigger brayers all come apart.
Yeah, but no.
But
Oh, I didn't think the mini one would.
I did for whatever reason. So thanks for that, Sandy. Like I said, lights are on, nobody's home. Some days I couldn't find my butt with both hands, so.
Well, you can't say butt, though.
Really?
I'm
Say
kidding.
damn, but I can't say butt. You're the fun police.
Fun,
So
hey, we're Canadian. We're soon going to have to follow the Canadian Broadcasting Act,
Ugh.
which is bull. And we're not going to. We're going to do it the way we always do it.
Yeah. There we go. I don't know. There was just a couple of spots there that were wanting.
Can you push the piece up a little bit?
Ta-da.
Yep. There you go.
I know. I keep sliding down.
Yeah, that's habit.
It's habit. Keep trying to put. Look, they all know.
Yeah.
We always start out with a table and it ends up in our lap.
Then the lazy boy, and then you're watching Netflix.
Exactly. So I've got all my stamps on here, got it all dry. I love how this just sort of creates this busy little stuff in the background. Now we're going to tone that down because it's a little on the harsh side. So out comes one of my favorite colors.
Politically correct police? Oh, no.
Politically,
No.
not in this house.
Not in this house. No. I has no filter. I call him as I see him.
Boy, do we know that.
Gets me in poop.
All the time.
Hubby was listening to me go on about these videos, and we were in Walmart the other day, passing the hair dryers, and hubby says, "Hey, look, paint dryers." That's Miss Brewer.
Paint dryers, yeah.
Sure, that's what they are.
These things are flipping awesome. I love the fact that it's so quiet.
And it pumps out a lot of heat.
And it does pump out a lot of heat. Sandy had them up on her website, and they were gone like no time flat.
Sandy, what's your Facebook? Oh, okay. Just asking Sandy for her Facebook page. I need 5-gallon barrel of asphaltum.
So do I. I keep asking Stan Clifford if I can get it in a bucket.
Yeah, just a 5-gallon bucket.
So I'm just putting a wash of asphaltum over top of it just to tone down that white. I don't want it to be quite so bright.
Hello, Miss Crosby.
Julie?
Julie Crosby. Love using
I
asphalt.
love that
The white.
every Saturday we see so many familiar names on there. I love it. Tickles me pink that everybody comes back to watch. Sometimes I wonder why.
Painting, comedy.
Yeah. Well, the comedy, unfortunately,
Wholesome
just sort of
content.
happens. Whether we want it to or not.
Yeah.
It's like dinner in our house.
I found out those paint dryers work well on hair too.
Yeesh.
Yeesh, that's a lot of heat. I don't have much hair. Probably work on the beard.
Probably set it on fire.
It came back quick, didn't it?
It did, surprisingly. Yeah, the lumberjack is back.
Yeah. Went from clean-shaven, boyish look to back to the lumberjack look.
Yeah, I noticed that the other day. You were wearing that plaid shirt, and that's what went through my mind. I said, the only thing that's missing is the axe.
Oh, that's in the shed.
It's in the shed, yeah.
Oh, Karen Jones,
saw
I need your
something the
mailing
other day.
address. Oh. Hoping to give you a parcel out this week. Okay. Conversations going on. I like it. People talking to other artists and
That's a good thing. It's a
Yeah.
community. We're supposed to be talking to each other. There.
it's amazing, entertaining, and fun to watch. I don't even paint yet.
Oh, we're going to fix that.
Oh,
You'll be as obsessed as the rest of us by the time you're done.
that's Miss Brewer. You don't even paint yet. Gotta get painting. Mind you, I just sit here and watch my others and check the chat. So I don't do much painting either.
So I've got 2 coats of that wash over top of all of that white. So it's quite considerably subdued. Even though you can still see it, it's going to get knocked back quite a bit. I love how this looks. It just takes on this nice warm feel and it ages it nicely. But the other thing that it does is it takes all of that starkness out of that black. So you get that nice dark background, but it's nice and warm feeling. It's not too harsh. So then we're going to do a little bit of stenciling on here. Now, I know when you look at mine, I have the stencils sort of tucked so that they, stick out from underneath the floral, but you don't have to do it that way. You can place them wherever you want. You can do as many as you want. That's entirely up to you. I like to limit it just to keep the background from getting a little overdone. So I'm going to, let me see, where am I going to put this one? I like taking one of them off the page. I think it just adds something to it to have that design go off the page. And I'm using 24 karat gold, but here's the tip. You can use brass, you can use bronze, you can use copper, you can use whatever metallic you want to. If you want to use silver, go ahead, knock yourself out. You don't have to use gold. And you can use any gold. You can use the one from the fluid acrylics, you can use the dazzling metallics. You are not married or obligated to using exactly what I used. Ever.
Creative Arts Lifestyle has Tracy patterns on sale.
Yes, they do.
Oh.
I am their feature artist of the month.
Oh, look at you.
I know. Ta-da. So here is stencil brush.
Where's the
Loaded.
body buried?
Where's the body buried? What body?
I don't know what you're talking about.
About.
Where's the body
So I used a little 24 karat. Ooh, I like that. So I've got a little design element coming off the page down here. And I'm going to use this stylized fleur-de-lis. Now there's 2 sizes on this stencil, which I really like. I like them both, actually, the big one and the little one. And again, I'm going to take that design off the page. It doesn't have to be perfectly within the bounds.
Bob's not there. Where'd Bob go?
Bob, oh, I knocked him out of...
You knocked him out of frame?
I did, sorry. Sorry.
There he is. Kinda.
He's hiding behind the...
I had to zoom out.
He had to zoom out to get Bob in.
There. Bob's been there the whole time.
Yeah. Where'd Bob go? It's pretty bad when you guys miss
pushing
them.
it back towards yourself again.
I know.
I gotta zoom in again, so Bob's gonna disappear for a little bit. Renee, Bob is MIA. No, he's not.
He's not MIA.
He was planned.
There we go.
There was another question here. When are... Where'd it go? When are Deco Arts 2021 colors going to be available?
And some of the sites already have it for pre-order. It will be available sometime this month. And you know how I know this? Where did it go? Shh. I got some of them.
Wait. You signed an NDA. I didn't.
I got some of them. I've been doing the color of the week.
Petal pink?
That's an older one. Yeah, petal pink. But I did get some of them in. They came in with the color of the week product. So they should be available soon. So we know they're being made.
Ta-da.
Ta-da! Because I have some of them. So yes, I have that. And I have Joyful Pink. I was really quite excited about this. This Joyful Pink is really pretty. And what else?
You know Tom's going to email you and ask me to sign an NDA now.
No, he won't. Yeah, so I got a few of the new colors in. Because we're doing the color of the week, we've got a bunch of things planned for the next few months, and some of the new colors were in those plans. So I couldn't really get any of the stuff ready until I had some of the colors. So now we know. And
Is anybody else having a problem with buffering?
yeah.
No, we're transmitting at 1080p, so
Yeah.
should be nice, clear video.
So there is that stencil detail, the Paris one. I used that little one here, and I used the larger one. There's nothing to stop you from tucking in a smaller one somewhere if you choose to, but that's entirely up to you. I'm going to stop at 2. I don't want to have too much of it in there. So that is your background. It's not a hard one to do. It's all about layers. So you start with the black. You're going to do all of your stamping in the warm white or titanium white or light buttermilk or whatever light color you've got. And then I put a wash of asphaltum over top of it. If you don't have the asphaltum, do it with a little burnt umber. That'll work.
Of course, the color lady needs a sneak peek. Yeah. The color lady.
I'm the color lady.
Ooh,
So-
excuse me.
So that is our background. So we have the gold in the stenciling technique. We have the stamping in the background. I just think that this is a really, really fun background, and it's so easy to do, and it's versatile. As you've seen, we've done how many of these flowers? We did the hibiscus, same process. We did the gardenia. We did the lilacs. We did the peony. And it was all exactly the same process. So nothing new in that background. And then I did this new one, which is the Bleeding Hearts. This one will be available soon too. So this is one of the new ones. I just think that this one's pretty. So, which kind of made things awkward because now we're at, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm sucking clams for dinner, so... Oh, you're shucking. You're shucking clams.
Yummy.
but she typed it as sucking.
Uh-huh. Okay.
You should cook them first. Just saying. Fry
Steam
them.
'em.
Oh, fried clams.
He likes deep fried clams.
Yeah.
So we went from having a set of 4 to a set of 5, which meant that I had to sit down and design a 6th. So I did a magnolia. So that's what I'm working on now, is a magnolia. So I have my background done for it. So now we're going to work on our gardenia. I really liked this one. This one was just pretty. And then, of course, when I transferred my line drawing on, I put it in the wrong place, but that's okay. It works anyway. So we're going to start by making sure that our colors are nice and opaque.
Oh, that is flooded. Sorry.
Oh, it's just the glare coming off all of that white.
Yeah, that white is...
Yeah. So I'm going to clear off my palette.
You're going to be subduing that white anyway, so...
I am. So right now that white's a little on the garish side.
It's camera sensors are losing their mind right now.
There's a reason why they tell you not to wear white when you're on television. It's because the cameras just lose it.
White acts as a light source
Yeah.
to cameras.
So it confuses the camera. So the colors I've put on my palette for this one are Bahama Blue. If you're using fluid acrylic, it's the cobalt teal, but I'm using the Bahama Blue today. I'm using a little bit of vintage pink. I love this pink. It's so soft. It's really, really nice. I'm using antique green, which is our leaves.
The canvas is an 8x8.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're using plantation pine or sap green, which is our shading color for our leaves. And of course, we're using asphaltum because I apparently can't paint without it. So I'll be completely hooped.
Oh, well, that's great, camera. Do that. Don't do that.
Do what?
This camera's being stupid. There we go.
So we're going to start shading all of these white petals with that Bahama Blue. Now a float, I'm using a fair amount of it. I'm going to open up my jar here because I didn't put in my jar of Joe Sonia's.
If you don't have vintage pink, what can you use?
Oh, you know what? What was the color I had chosen the other day?
I don't know.
Couldn't for the life of me find vintage pink, so I went with Terra Coral.
Terra Coral?
Terra Coral.
Terra
If you need an item number, it is DA 286. Right there.
Almost a gray pink.
Well, so is the vintage pink.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
And the Terra Coral is like just one value darker.
Yeah.
So a little bit of white, or just use it as it is. It's fine. The Terra Coral will work beautifully.
They really like the bleeding hearts, by the way. A lot of comments.
You know what? They're fun. They're
Yeah.
fun. And they're easy to paint. They're not difficult. So we're going to separate all of those petals with a float of that Bahama Blue.
Bob is part of the camera crew now.
Yep. Bob is part of the camera crew.
He's sticking around.
So that is it. I'm just using a really loose float of color to separate all of these petals. So darkest value towards the center of the flower, always.
We've gotten to the point of no plain backgrounds. The painting looks boring.
What it comes down to is that you need to have something of interest in the background. It doesn't necessarily have to be related to the subject. In this case, it just gave us sort of a vintage feel. It's more about creating an atmosphere than it is about creating any level of detail. And a plain painted background is...
There is a painting, a portrait of a Vietnam soldier, and with like the 1,000-yard stare, and the background is all prescription papers.
Yes, I've seen that.
And it's it's not directly related.
It's indirectly related.
It's indirectly related.
Yeah.
It's a neat piece.
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, okay, that kind of hits home.
Yep. So I'm just using that Bahama blue to separate all of those petals. We're also going to use it to create some of the textures in the petals, but we're going to start with just separating them and creating a little bit of depth in those petals. And we're also going to shade under some of those turnovers. Now, on the camera, you're seeing just these black spaces. These are actually turnovers. And we're going to paint those after everything else is done. And we have company. Miss Soot is in the studio. Miss Soot. Noisy and annoying.
Oh, she's in a mood, too.
And she's in a mood. Great.
Oh, you want out?
She wants out of the studio. She must have been sleeping somewhere.
What? There, go bug the dog or something.
I'm sure the dog will appreciate that.
Speaking of dog, there's the puppers. There's the puppers.
I think he left his microphone on. So I'm just continuing to add a little bit of blue. I like separating those details. It's going to look a little messy and a little rocky for a bit, but that's okay. So there is our float to separate.
What? I hope we have a class today. I've never seen them this late before. Question mark?
And maybe she's not seeing what's on the screen.
Yeah. I think she may have hit a playback and it was all the way at the beginning.
Oh. Oh, we're not late. We're here.
We're here. We've been painting for almost an hour.
Yeah. Well, we haven't been, but. So the fun part about doing this, using this blue, is that it's not going to stay blue. The blue is just the shading.
Oh, but no frozen and no sound?
Oh, no.
What? I haven't gotten any... What's going on?
It says we have excellent connection.
Yep. We've been excellent from 1 o'clock exactly.
There we go.
No new notifications. So, hate to say it might be you guys. Leslie, yes it would. Okay. Love how quickly things seem to come together and the image starts to come out. Oh, you're using the Bahama blue, that's why.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. You start to see the definition once you start pulling these colors in. So I'm going to...
They haven't started yet? What?
Yeah. Well, I think somebody is having a problem on their end. It's not on this one.
Yeah, because we've been going for 50 minutes and 25 seconds. Can see and hear you perfectly.
Excellent.
Awesome.
So I've got all of that Bahama blue in there. Oh, we got to get into this little one here. Get some nice color in. Well, the neat part about using that blue is that I know it seems strange, but this is going to help it stay white. Kind of like the purple does for my hair. I swore I'd never be one of those blue-haired ladies. Instead, it's got a purple cast.
It's because you're red.
Yeah.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore. Now it's battleship gray.
Battleship gray.
I was trying to think of a decor color that would describe my hair, and we don't have one. Battleship gray comes to mind.
Decor, get on it.
Yeah.
Get Battleship Gray.
Battleship Gray, that's what I need.
It's actually a blue, isn't it? That they use for boats?
It's, yeah, Battleship Gray is sort of a bluish,
Yeah.
yeah.
Getting here late, was out buying flowers and veggie plants for the garden.
I'm doing that tomorrow.
Are you?
Well, I gotta get that garden turned over tomorrow. So I've got all of my blue in place, so we're going to switch over and go over to these leaves, and I'm going to shade them with that plantation pine. I want to get that first shading in. And
Wow.
so I come to the corner of that leaf and put a nice strong shadow underneath the leaf, or underneath that petal, and right down the center vein of that leaf. And then I'm going to pull that same color down in.
I will be right back. Some of us have Arctic blonde hair.
Arctic, is that what it's called? Arctic blonde?
Arctic blonde?
Cool. I like that idea.
Arctic blonde. It's not gray, it's Arctic blonde.
I'm just sort of sitting in the middle of this.
Mine was...
You were a platinum blonde.
Yeah, but then it went to strawberry, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it had more...
Just like me.
Now it's all in my beard.
So I like that plantation pine to shade those leaves. We are going to do this a couple of times till we get to that depth that I want. I like the nice dark shadows, particularly underneath the flower, close in. This leaf is got so much dark color in here. I'm going to do the same thing. Remember, this one's got a point too. And get that shadow nice and dark. Now I generally will do this in a couple of layers just so that I get that nice strong shadow. I'm going to dry this real quick. So you can see that that shadow gets nice and dark. Now I took that leaf over the edge. I kind of like the effect, that's why. And then I'm going to go over that shadow with that second float, and it just deepens that color really nicely. I don't worry too much about sharp edges on those petals just yet, because we're going to do a lot of work to, clean things up, give them nice sharp edges, nice bright highlights. We have plenty of time to get that done. So I'm just tucking that shadow in. I want it underneath that flower. I want those shadows really nice and dark, but I don't want them black. So I'm going to do that in layers so that the plantation pine builds up. And then that way we get nice strong shadows. Not to mention the highlights, when we put them on, those highlights are going to pop really nicely because of that contrast. So shadows are important. The nice thing is that a little later on, when we start adding all of those highlights in, we can adjust these shadows. So if they're not quite dark enough, we can always make them darker. If you start with an ultra dark shadow, then you have nowhere to go. So you have to build it up till you get where you want to be. That way you have complete control. Ooh, almost there. Beauty. So we've got our first shading on those petals. Got our first shading on the leaves. So now I'm going to come back to this flower because this is where things get a little different. We're going to use some asphaltum. Now, I thin this out quite a lot, so I am not using this color full strength. So I'm using it very sparingly and very heavily thinned. And I put a nice weak float right over top of that blue. Two things happen. It instantly deepens the shading, and it changes that blue to a more of a blue-green tone. And it gives us the ability to divide those petals better. And it changes the color slightly. So I'm going to come back down. Remember this little shadow? I'm going to float a little bit in there, and then I'm going to let that shadow run out. Now, something I've been doing lately, because I don't know why, but I've been having trouble getting nice soft floats. And so a friend suggested that I try this. So I did, and it worked. So I'm using, this is actually a really soft deerfoot, just to soften the edges of my float, because I've never been a mop person, but started using this recently, and I like the effect. So there is shadow here and right along there. So wherever that blue is, I'm putting a float, a weak float of asphaltum over it. And again, I'm using it heavily thinned. And I'm heavily thinned for a reason. I don't want this to be too dark, too heavy. So there's. And I like how this helps us define the shapes of some of these petals too. Because there are a few places here where we're going to be a little more aggressive with this shading color, with this asphaltum, but for a purpose. And that will be to establish the depth in the center of this flower.
Little guy was hungry.
Oh, it was feeding time in the zoo.
2 cats, a dog, and a squirrel. In my head, Renee has brown hair and a beard. Nope.
Nope.
That'd be way off. What color is Renee's hair?
He doesn't have any.
Bald. Actually, I have some right now, but it's going way of the dodo shortly.
Yeah. He's overdue for a haircut.
It's touching my ears.
Yeah. He has never liked his hair to touch his ears.
Gray Storm, says Sandy.
Gray Storm?
Yeah.
No. I think mine is more battleship gray.
Arctic Blonde.
Arctic Blonde. I wish it was Arctic Blonde.
Silver Sisters. Everybody says your hair looks great. Where is a picture of Renee? Ha ha ha.
So I like that sort of softness. These are going to look a little dirty for a bit until we go back in and we start adding brighter highlights to the edges of these leaves or petals. Gardenia leaves.
Even his Instagram only has Dot.
Yeah. Miss Dot. She's doing well.
Yeah. becoming a lot more mobile even without the use of her legs.
Yeah. She's getting there. I found it interesting that the minute Dad comes through that door, well, the minute that Dad pulls into the driveway, she starts heading for the front door, with or without wheels. So she has bonded to my husband. It's pretty funny.
At the room, so he's not seeing the comments. Nope, I had to go to the washroom. So you don't want to follow me with the microphone on that one?
No.
And I had to feed the squirrel.
Yeah. If you're just joining us, we have a new addition to the family.
Yeah. His name is Peanut.
His name is Peanut. Renee and Dot were out for a walk the other night after a heavy rainstorm, and Dot alerted to something sitting in the middle of the road, and when Renee went to investigate, it turned out it was a baby squirrel. No trees in the immediate vicinity, so we have no idea how he got into the middle of the road, but couldn't leave him there, so Renee brought the little bugger home.
He was shivering.
Yeah, he was shivering after that rain, because it's not been all that warm here. So I've got all my shading in place. And as I said, this is not super soft or super pretty at this stage. This is going to look a little on the muddy side because we haven't cleaned up all the edges. We haven't done any of the highlighting and whatnot in it. And before we do, I want to get into doing this centerpiece here, which I've done with saffron yellow or marigold or whatever yellow, nice rich yellow you have on hand. I'm using saffron because I like that color. And it took a couple of coats to get it nice and opaque, but essentially you're just creating some simple flames in here. So I'm just going to stroke a few in. Nothing over the top.
Please tell me it was a red squirrel. No, gray squirrel.
It's a little gray squirrel. We don't have too many red squirrels in our area, but we have a lot of gray ones, though.
Subron. Has, not gas. Lord, I hate autocorrect. Well, you'll be happy to know that you are not wrong in your first comment, Sue. I do have gas.
I wonder where that ranks on their need-to-know list.
Apparently, I have a kind heart. It's mainly dedicated to animals, though.
Yes.
Had it been a person in the middle of the road shivering,
he still would have helped. He just likes you to think that he's a brute, that's all.
I have a respect for animals.
Yeah.
That comes from a good upbringing.
That's sweet. And I was brought up by parents that couldn't leave any kind of sob story on the side of the road. I mean, our house was like a flippin' zoo.
And have it mom's way or dad's way, there'd be more than cats and dogs in this house.
Yeah, there
And
would
squirrels.
be. Yeah. Well, growing up, we had a pet squirrel that we got pretty much the same way. And we had him for quite a while, I think 4 or 5 years. And he had the run of the house. He used to torture the cats because we had cats too and dogs. We had 5 border collies at one point.
Karen. So, Renee, when your mom's package arrives, don't eat all the goodies. You put goodies in there? Who says she's even going to get the package now?
Oh my gosh. Don't give him any ideas, Karen.
I'm with Renee, animals come first.
Yeah.
Well, my safety comes first.
He can't protect the animals if anything happens to him.
Yeah. So I've been in cages with large animals. I've been face to face with moose, which
Deer.
are very gentle giants,
Yep.
as long as it's not rut season.
Yep. And as long as you're not going anywhere near their little ones.
Yep.
So I'm just using a little bit of titanium white to fill in these little flip overs.
This flipboard is going to act like a highlight.
Kinda, yeah. But I'm doing this the simplest way possible. I don't believe in making things more complex than they need to be.
Animals never betray you. Yeah, they won't betray, but coyotes will in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
If it means they get to step on the next rung in the ladder.
Yeah. But it's what they do.
But that's their
It's
behavior.
coyotes.
Wolves won't do it unless you start to show any sort of weakness.
Yeah.
Cats are just, well, opportunists.
Yep.
So, and that goes for large cats too.
Yep.
Injuring an animal makes me want to join John Wick on. Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yep. Anybody that, the way I see it is anybody that would mistreat an animal would easily mistreat another human being. So
Yeah.
they get what's coming to them. So that's all those little turnovers are. And it also gives you a chance to clean up some missteps and some whoopsies. There's always a whoopsie or two in these, but it's just the ability to clean up a few things.
Did I miss the food part of the show today?
We haven't even talked about food yet. Don't get them started. Jeez.
Well, we had butter chicken the other night. Oh, I had butter chicken the other night.
Yeah, he was cleaning up leftovers.
I was cleaning up leftovers.
We're having lamb.
We had burgers last night.
We had burgers last night. We're having lamb this weekend.
Oh, you're doing that.
The lamb shanks.
Lamb shanks. Yeah. The
Korma.
Gorma. Yeah, that's it.
He's easy to please. Just feed him. I don't know. It's not hard to keep him out of trouble. Just feed him. So that little bit of white, it also shapes this nicely. What are you chuckling about now?
Apparently, I rescued Bob.
Yeah, he rescued Bob.
You weren't too happy with Bob.
No, I'm still not thrilled with Bob, but he's been a lot of fun, so. We're keeping Bob.
Kathy, don't get them started. Baby back ribs on in the Instapot right now, and man, they smell good. Does anyone know where I can order caps for paint bottles? Some of mine are so old they fall apart.
You can actually, on Decoart's website, you can order replacement bottles. I'm trying to find all of my little flip overs and make sure I haven't missed any. Oop, there's one.
My house has 2 retired German Shepherds, 1 Dutch herder, and 1 working Mal.
My goodness. That'd be a happy
With a
house.
Spaniel Expo dog arrival imminent. Wow. Holy energy-filled dogs, Batman.
Renee, I don't know if any of them know this, but Renee is actually a dog trainer. He trains canine, and
The fact that you have a Mal.
he wants a mouse so badly
God,
he
do I
can
ever.
taste it. But he's worked with them in the canine units.
Yeah,
But yeah, high energy dogs.
I want a Mallie.
They're too smart.
I want a Maligator.
I want some alligator. What, the duchy upstairs isn't enough?
That's just
She has wheels, will travel.
Yeah.
So I'm going to dry this real quick so I can put on another coat because the white is terrible. It's not covering well.
I bet the retired German Shepherds are pretty calm right now. But the Dutch herder and the Mallee, that's...
Energy to spare.
Thank you for giving me ideas for today's lunch. Is that your 50-knot liner?
It is my 50-knot liner.
Yeah.
I love this thing. That Dynasty Micron.
Brush Guy's website by Dynasty didn't have one.
They're getting stuff there. They're slowly getting product in. I mean, they're having a hard time keeping up, literally. Even Dynasty is having a hard time keeping up at this point.
Somebody has birds. Sylvie Miller has 7 parrots, 2 Amazon, 2 African greys, 1 blue and gold macaw.
Oh,
Wow.
a blue and gold macaw.
Those are life animals.
Yeah, parrots are, you've got to be prepared to have them for a very long time.
Yeah.
But the African greys, man, those are beautiful birds.
Smart. Very smart animals.
Yeah.
I don't think my microphone is working very well in my armpit. Thank you, sweater.
All depends on what your armpit's got to say.
I love my little Yorkie. Yorkies are cute, I will admit.
And they're smart too.
Yeah, Yorkies are very smart dogs for their size.
Yeah. They think they're capable of much more than they are. Like, as far as their size is concerned. Yeah.
The German Shepherds and the Dutch are my babies. What, and the Mal? What about the Mal?
That's the working dog.
That's the working dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're treating it like a working dog, I bet.
Yeah.
Not a show dog.
He's a worker.
I bet your house is noisy. I bet it's quiet.
I bet it's safe.
Oh, they're talking about Sylvie's parrots.
Oh, yeah. Parrots are just incredible.
But yeah, Julie Crosby's house is safe.
Yep, I would say so. Well, Dot is a working dog.
Yeah. Well, not so much anymore.
Not so much anymore, but
She still does nose work pretty well, though.
yeah.
She can find a ball from a mile away. I'd say every 5th or 6th walk,
Yeah.
she's coming home with a new ball.
Yeah. That's hilarious that dog can find balls everywhere.
The newest addition was a lacrosse ball.
Yep, she located one of those pretty.
There's not even a
quickly.
lacrosse field near here.
Yeah. So how the heck she found that, I have no idea. But yeah, she's got a nose for a ball.
You might break in, but you're not leaving in one piece. And it is very quiet.
Yeah, it would be.
Didn't you have a friend who had 2 staffies?
I know it's a lady on Instagram that I follow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She had 2 beautiful Staffordshire Terriers and gorgeous dogs. And she came home and there was blood splatters all over her kitchen and like wherever the tile was, there's blood everywhere. And she was immediately panicked because she thought that the dogs had been hurt. And then she realized that somebody had broken into her house and the blood belonged to whoever it was that had broken into her house. So it didn't take the police very long to figure out where he was. They just checked the hospitals because he ended up checking himself in. But yeah, so I thought, good boy. I know, so nothing was missing.
Miss Dawn has a lazy pit bull. See, with pit bulls, you can either get
Yeah.
one personality or another, and sometimes that one personality is, lazy.
Yeah.
It's usually because they're crossed with either probably an American Bulldog.
Yeah.
Because American Bulldogs are very lazy.
They're cute though.
Love my little Westie. Westies are awesome.
Yes.
They're very family-friendly dogs. Yorkie, my cousin has an African Grey, and man, can she talk.
Oh yeah. African great parrots are just incredible.
Oh, you have a mini Schnauzer.
Oh, schnauzers are cute.
See there's a guy on the next street over. He's got a giant Schnauzer.
Yes, I've seen him. But he's a beautiful dog.
And very relaxed.
Yeah.
Very relaxed dog. Dot wants to see him.
So I'm going back in with a little more of that Bahama Blue because I wasn't quite dark enough and I missed a couple of shadings, a couple of spots where I meant to put a shadow and just didn't.
Nathan is watching you this morning?
Nathan, that's Karen's cat. That's the one that she rescued that's bottle fed from day one.
Do you dip in the glaze every time you paint?
I do.
Yeah.
Somebody had asked me this morning, I had a quick meeting with one of the chapters, a lovely bunch of ladies. Somebody had asked me why I use it, and there's actually a technical reason for why I use it. And it's because when you add water to paint, you are diluting paint. There's a difference between thinning and diluting. So if you're thinning paint, you're just changing its viscosity. If you're diluting paint, it means that you're adding water to it and you're reducing the amount of everything else that's in it. So when it comes to floating, we all traditionally use water to float with, which is fine, but it also makes for very fragile floats, meaning that that color, the amount of color in it is reduced, which it's supposed to do because you are, in essence, thinning out the paint. But it also thins out the things that make it paint, which means the stuff that helps it adhere to the surface. So all of those bonding agents and those things that make the paint stick. So by using this glaze, I'm thinning out the color, but I am not reducing the paint's ability to adhere to the surface. And that is important when it comes to working paint. So if you've ever done a lot of detail work, line work, where you really have to thin out that paint quite a bit to get it to run smoothly off of your brush, and then when that everything is dry, you go to put a varnish on and all of those little details break or come apart or they disappear. The reason for that is that all of those binders, all of those things that make the paint stick to the surface have been diluted. They've been taken away, so they no longer stick. So all you're really putting down is just the pigment. So by using this glaze instead, I'm getting that thinness, I'm getting that, all that color, I'm getting it to flow off the brush, but I'm not reducing the paint's ability to adhere to the surface.
That jar is glaze, not water.
Yeah.
Yep. Where was it? Julie Crosby. With the working mal, bite reports are frequent.
Yeah.
Lesson. Don't run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mals are prey-driven dogs. Don't run from a mal.
Nope.
You can run from a shepherd, Rottweiler, pretty much any other dog out there.
But don't run from a mal.
Don't run
that's
from
just egging him on.
That's just egging them on. Best thing you can do is keep your arms flat to your sides and just walk towards them.
Yep.
They usually just keep barking and backing up at the same time. Usually. Sometimes they can aggress.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So now that we've got all of that shading in, I'm going to start adding some highlights, and I'm doing that with a little bit of titanium white. So, and I want you to have a look right in here, this particular petal. So I'm laying in a highlight of that titanium white along that center line. And look at how immediately that shadow gets darker. So I'm going to take the titanium white out to the edge of the petal, right to the very edge. And it will instantly clean up a whole bunch of little things. So little areas that you're not real happy with, that aren't necessarily crisp and clean. That little float will help you give you that nice sharp edge. And it does two things. It brightens the edge of the petals, it helps define those shadows, and it cleans up all of those rough edges.
I have one question for Renee Howard. Do you have a baby in the house? Or a small child? Because if you have a chow in the house,
Yeah.
That is the safest child in the house. Chows are probably one of the most protective dogs out there, right next to King Corsos.
Yeah. It's their whole life.
That's their job.
So I am just, again, remember what I said about being able to crisp up edges. So edges where you're not real happy with, that float of white will help clean up all of those edges. I usually try to make my float so that it overlaps the other colors just slightly. So it diffuses those colors just a little bit. And it helps you define things and gives you nice crisp points on those petals.
What is this? Still can't find that fast drying medium in Canada.
Country Bear.
Country Bear.
Yep. I know it's not easy to find. The other place, and Karen can back me up on this one, is Delta Arts. They're based in Alberta. They're in Edmonton, I believe. And I've got my last bottle just most recently through them. I got the Magic Mix through them. They carry a lot of Jo Sonja product. They also carry Deco Art product, and they carry a variety of products. And actually, it's a really great resource.
How does the flow medium compare? Is it more like the water or the glaze as far as breaking the paint?
It's more like water. This is one of the reasons I like it, is that it's very fluid. Most glazing mediums are a little on the thick side and a little tacky and a little sticky, and I don't really like that. So this fast dry glaze for me is a really nice option because it is so fluid. It has the same consistency as milk. So it gives me that ability. So it behaves like water, but it maintains the integrity of the paint.
Sheila Landry says order from Delta Art.
Yep, Delta Art is fantastic. So you can see that this flower is starting to take shape quite nicely. I like to punch up that highlight, especially on those shadows. Where they are, abruptly meet those shadows, I like that punch of bright white. It just gives everything a nice crisp, clean edge.
Magic Mix?
Magic Mix is similar to the fast dry glaze, a little thicker.
Yeah.
But it will do a lot of the same things. It just doesn't thin the paint as nicely as the fast dry glaze does. But for shading any other glazing that you need to do, it's fantastic. So I've got some highlights in place. So now I'm going to start deepening a few shadows. And I'm going to do that with that fast dry glaze on my brush and a little tiny bit of asphaltum.
Apparently, if someone broke into Kay Reynolds' house, her Westies would show them where the good stuff is.
Yeah. They're just there to enjoy the company.
Yeah. Westies are awesome house dogs. They were technically bred for royalty to do one thing, be a companion.
Yeah.
That's it.
And they do it well.
And they do it very well, yeah. They're very affectionate dogs. They alert very well.
Yeah.
But they're fine with strangers. They're fine with...
They're okay
kids.
with everybody.
They're good dogs.
Yep.
If that's what you're looking for in a dog.
Yep. If you want to chew the leg off the bad guy, you need something else.
You need a Rottweiler, Doberman, German Shepherd, Maligator.
Maligator. So I'm just taking a little of that asphaltum, and I'm defining a few things. I'm just taking it in towards the center where I need those darker values. And I'm just deepening that shading in there.
So is it Joe Sonia Fast Dry and Glaze Medium?
Yes.
Yes.
That's the one I work with.
Have you used alcohol links with acrylics?
I have not. I'm not all that familiar with alcohol inks. I've played with them a little bit, but I really haven't done enough to really give you any kind of an opinion on their functionality, so I won't profess to have any kind of expertise with them. So there, I'm just, like I said, I'm just deepening these shadows towards the center. I want those darker. It'll help us define those petals. It helps us shape this flower nicer. Good grief. There we go. So I like that deepened shadow. I do this in thin layers because I don't want it to get too brown all at once. It gives you control over it and it changes. You can adjust those shadows as you go so that you have control. So there we are. I know, I am a big one about control when it comes to adjusting shadows. If you have control over it, then it doesn't get overworked all at once. But you can see that this is really starting to pull together. We're starting to get that nice definition, that nice depth in the center. You just do it in layers, and that way it doesn't get out of control on you. And I'm just about ready, I think, to start doing a little bit of work on that centerpiece, that center stamen. It's actually a really simple, we're going to treat it very simply. We're not going to go whole hog on it because I don't think it's necessary. But we're going to do it. I'm going to grab some orange. I like orange flame lately. I don't know why. It's just my favorite orange of late. I think it's because it's so bright. But you could use almost anything, really. I like this one, that orange flame. It's a really in-your-face orange. I'm going to thin it out with a little bit of that glaze. And I think I'll switch to a small angle instead. There we go. So I'm going to separate these little, remember I talked about that little flame thing in there? I'm going to separate these a little bit so that they kind of look like flames. Just like that. So it has some shape. So I just tucked a little of that orange flame in there. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of Sunny Day. I like that bright, warm yellow. And my bottle is almost empty. Eek. There we go. I managed to scare a little bit out of that bottle. I'll grab my... And this is where that 15-aught comes in, and a little bit of that fast dry. And I'm going to put a highlight on the tips of it, just with some fine strokes, like so.
Oh. Are you still practicing with colored pencil?
I am. Actually just downloaded a new tutorial the other day. I'm still obsessed with working on glass, creating glass with it. That's my latest obsession with colored pencils. So.
And it would be fun doing a class on some animals, maybe Peanut, with pencil. When's the last time you...
Using pencils?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know enough about colored pencil, really. I don't think I know enough about colored pencil to teach with it. I took up colored pencils just to challenge myself. I haven't, aside from when I went to school, I haven't really done a whole lot with pencil in the last probably 20 years. And so the one thing that I discovered was that a lot of my drawing skills were deteriorating because I hadn't been using them. And so I decided to challenge myself by doing something with colored pencils. And so that's what brought all of that on, going into colored pencils, was more me looking to advance my own skill set, in an area where I'm not strong and in an area that I'm not comfortable, that being even more to the point. So I'm really enjoying working with the colored pencils. I've got, like, I don't know how many sets now. 4. I love my colored pencils. So, but I'm taking classes with people like Mark Menendez, and Anne Swan is a particular favorite. I love her work, and she's a remarkable instructor as well. So who knows? We shall see in the future, maybe. But right now, no, I'm still learning. So. So I'm just touching up, deepening that shadow in the center of that flower, because the minute I put that yellow on, I realized that shadow wasn't quite dark enough. So I'm going to deepen it a little. I want that center to pop forward a little.
Your owl was amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that one. I have to say, I'm pretty happy with that one.
Before the owl, you haven't really done any wildlife.
No,
Last time I remember you spending a lot of time on a wildlife picture was, I think, the tiger.
Yeah, and that one was done in ink,
Yeah.
not in pencil. So I'm going to shade the bottom of that center with a little of that at asphaltum as well. Just a little, just to give it a little depth. It also subdues that orange just a little, so it's not quite so bright. And there we go.
Bought colored pencils and an animal book from Lydia Steves.
Lydia is awesome. You cannot go wrong taking a class from Lydia Steves. If you want to draw animals, if you enjoy drawing animals, you cannot go wrong taking a class with her. And I could sit and watch her draw kitty cats and puppy dogs and squirrels and whatnot, because she's amazing. I love her work. So I've got some highlights in place. I've got my center done. I've got the shading in the center here. I've deepened that a little bit. I adjusted in a couple of places because I've missed a few flip overs, and I just realized there's another one that I missed because, lights are on and nobody's home. Right there. And so I'm going to rinse out my brush, give that a second to dry, and then I'm going to go over it with a little bit of a thinned asphaltum. And we're going to talk about these leaves.
Do you have an owl in acrylics from some time ago?
Oh, I did a goofy little owl some time ago. A little. Yeah, it's a cutie one.
Oh,
It is cute. He's fun to do, but it's not in the same ballpark as that pencil one.
Is there still room to take your Hawaii chapter class?
The registration on my Birds of Paradise class is closed.
Oh.
We were just, I think, a couple of seats shy of full, so. But that pattern will be available after the class is taught. I can't wait for that one. That's going to be so much fun. So I just saw a spot where I need to clean up a little bit right there.
Paula Leopold?
Paula Leopold is amazing.
Oh.
She's a color pencil artist. She is amazing. There's some incredible ones. Mark Menendez is just flippin' amazing. I like his work a lot. I have a couple of his tutorials lined up too. I'm excited about doing. There we go. So all I'm doing is just adjusting some highlights here to make sure that they're nice and bright where they're supposed to be nice and bright. And I've got an edge on this one here I've got to clean up because it's really ragged looking. But there we go. And I'll do the same to that one. Okay. So one thing that I love about gardenias is that brilliant white, and I like this about white flowers in general, is that they tend to reflect colors that are showing up around them. So if you have flowers of other colors in the neighborhood, the color is sort of reflected into them a little bit. So it's not unusual to see calla lilies with, if they're with bluebells or with their other brightly colored flowers, that color shows up or reflects in them. So for this gardenia, I chose a little bit of vintage pink. And we're not using it very sparingly. We're not using a ton of this color because it is just that. It is reflected color. It's to imply that there's other colors outside of this realm. So I like to pull that vintage pink just a little to the edge of the petals. Just a tiny bit, and it doesn't have to be strong. I've got a little too much glaze in my brush here. It does not have to be strong.
The original color was warm white?
Warm white. The base color is warm white. Yeah. So a little touch of that vintage pink. Or the terra coral, or even any other pink will do. Even if you wanted to pull a little bit of yellow onto this instead. So that is entirely up to you. It's just to imply that there are other colors. And it helps lend a little more realism to this. So I'm just putting a little touch of that pink in a few places. And that's all it does, is imply that there are other colors in the area, and it softens this flower quite a lot. And I like how that little burst of pink, that little blush of color, helps soften this flower quite a bit.
In the computer world, we call it tessellation or subsurface scattering.
What a romantic description.
Just saying.
In Tracy's world, it's called a blush.
It's called a blush.
Yeah. In the art world, it's called reflected color. So there, I have a little touch of that pink. And I've just popped a little bit, and it is a little bit. You don't need a ton of it. It's meant to be just a soft wash of color. But it does drastically change how these flowers look.
What does the Linda stand for?
The Linda, it stands for Linda Safranco. She's in here today. Linda is actually the one that inspired the piece. So I will ask you guys from time to time what you'd like to see, what you'd like to paint. And Linda said she wanted to paint a gardenia. And I was in the process of creating these floral pieces, and it was the perfect opportunity. And so now we have Linda's gardenia.
So the pattern's named after Linda Safranco?
So it's named after Linda Safranco. I have a tendency to name things after the people that inspire them. So,
what is it? Milen's peony?
Yeah, the hibiscus, Milen's hibiscus.
Milen's hibiscus
was inspired by my niece because she posted a photo of this spectacular hibiscus that she's got growing in her home. And so she inspired it, so that's what it's called. So there we've got our little bit of reflected color in our gardenia.
Have you Have you done violets?
I haven't, but that's a great idea.
Dun dun dun.
See, and I always think of violets. They'd be so pretty in a teacup.
Should call them Marshall violets.
Marshall violets?
Just saying.
Yeah.
Jean Marshall.
So the color that I'm using for the highlight on these leaves is either olive green or matcha green. Either one will work.
Oh, I see where the confusion is.
What?
I put capital L, capital I, little n,
Oh.
D-A. That was me not being fast enough on the caps lock
Uh-huh.
when I typed in the title. I see where I caused the confusion.
You're causing trouble again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my bad.
So the highlight on these stems is just a weak float of, like I said, either olive green or matcha green, whichever one you have on hand. And I'm putting it on the left side of that stem.
Foxgloves?
Foxgloves, digitalis. Digitalis gigantus.
Have you ever done pansies?
Yes, I love pansies. Pansies are a happy flower. And I paint pansies. They usually end up in Karen's house. Because Karen loves pansies. And purple is her favorite color. So.
Oh, I personally would like to see cactus flower.
Sandy just did the most amazing piece. It's called Prickly Pear.
Oh, yeah?
It just came out today in the new edition of Pixelated Palette.
Oh, yeah?
It's amazing. I love it. If you were watching her live the other day, it was in the background of her in her studio, and sitting next to it was the piece that she's teaching in her live tomorrow. Friggin' amazing.
Franny Panny? Frange Panny? Franji. Jipani.
Frangipania? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Question mark?
So I'm just highlighting these leaves with a little float of that matcha green or that olive green. And I'm keeping it fairly loose. I'm not worried about it getting, too sharp and too perfect right off the bat. I treat the highlights the same way I treat the shading. Layers, layers, layers.
Something very different. Koi fish.
Ooh, I've done koi fish. That's an old piece. A number of years ago, I did a huge canvas piece called the Koi Geisha. And all the koi fish were in her robe.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
That's the one that inspired me to when I designed Gavin's tattoo.
Yep.
He's got the yin and yang, but he's got the two koi fish.
Yeah, instead. Yep. So there's the highlight on that. We're going to take it over here, opposite that deep shadow in the center. And I try to keep it sharp when I'm on that chisel, on that center part.
Frangipani?
I'm going to have to look that one up.
Yeah, Frangipani. Come here, Google. Let me consult the oracle.
So once I have the highlights in place on these leaves, this is where...
Okay.
What's that? Let me see.
Frangipani.
Oh, what is the other name for these? There's another name for these. Plumeria.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, plumeria. Tropical flower. They were all over the place on Grand Cayman. They were everywhere. They're beautiful.
Very vibrant yellows, smooth whites.
Yeah. Very pretty.
They grow in a spiral.
Yeah. They're very pretty. There's plumeria. Oh, I know.
You get your pinks and your yellows.
Yeah.
And
Gorgeous.
that's nice.
Mm.
Good suggestion.
It is. That would be pretty on a tropical background, much like that, the birds of paradise.
Yeah.
Where is my birds of paradise? There it is. I had to go get it. This one is going to be so fun.
You can paint all the poisonous flowers
Oh, that'd be pretty.
amongst the zombie cookies.
Yeah. So this is the Birds of Paradise piece. I could see plumeria being done like this. This would be fun. I know. I can't wait for this. It's going to be fun.
Trilliums?
Trillium. I've painted Trillium. I've painted
Burgundy.
Jack in the Pulpit.
Yeah. Burgundy and white trilliums.
Ooh. See, the traditional ones that you get in Ontario, the provincial flower in Ontario is painted Trillium.
Columbine flowers?
I have columbine in my garden.
Oh, do you?
I do. They're beautiful. They just don't last very long. That's the downside. And mine is already up and full of leaves, and I'll soon have stalks.
Daylilies?
I've done daylilies. I've done
You're
iris.
suggesting flowers.
Yeah,
You could suggest well, maybe not anything.
almost anything.
Keep it relatively G-rated.
Leave it to him to figure that one out.
Well, somebody else would. If I didn't
That's
say
true.
it, somebody else would have.
So I'm going to deepen the shading in the centers of these leaves and these shadows with another float of that plantation pine. I mixed in a little asphaltum, just a touch, just to warm it up a bit because I found it was getting a little cold. So I'm deepening these shadows opposite that highlight. Get them nice and deep. Little flip overs. Purslane.
Also known as moss roses.
Moss roses. I was thinking of doing wild roses because we have so many of them here.
Moonflowers?
Evening primrose is another one. Hollyhocks. I'd really like to do a hollyhock 'cause they're just pretty.
I want to do a group of 3 or 4 of your flowers, but it's going to be hard to pick. Can't wait for the birds of paradise. My dad loves that flower.
I thought, when I was asked to teach for this group in Hawaii, they asked for a tropical flower, which stands to reason because they're surrounded by them. But it's not something that, being Canadian, that we see a lot of. So
A lot of reference photos.
I didn't have a whole lot of reference photos. Well, the girls in Hawaii sent me this spectacular calendar with all these beautiful tropical flowers in it. So I have tons of reference now.
I'm pretty sure she's done blue bonnets before.
I have not.
No?
I have not
No,
done blue
I'm
bonnets.
thinking-
You're thinking of bluebells.
Yes. I was thinking of the bluebells.
Yeah. Bluebells I've done, but bluebells are different.
Passion flower. Hollyhocks.
I love hollyhocks. Okay, so I've got my shading in place. I got one more thing to do to these leaves, and that is to add a dry brushed highlight. I'm going to dry this real quick.
Hollyhocks gets my vote. Hollyhocks would be great. I have them in my front dairy barn every year. Hollyhocks would be amazing.
See, hollyhocks bring back some really happy memories for me. The farm where my grandparents lived, all around the farmhouse in the summertime was surrounded by these beautiful hollyhocks. And we used to sit out on the porch in the evenings during the summer and watch them close. And you'd see them swinging and moving because some of the bumblebees would forget to get out. So we'd have to go and set the bumblebees free without getting stung.
Dogwood.
Oh, dogwood. Sandy did a beautiful dogwood just recently on her group. She was...
Really, Lori?
Oh, what? Somebody torturing you.
She said, is Pussy Willow G-rated?
No.
Wow.
Actually, one of the first tutorials that I did with colored pencil was how to do pussy willows, and it was one of those, are you kidding me? They're that easy to do?
Yeah.
Looked really easy, not so easy. So I've taken a little of that matcha green or olive green, and I mixed just a touch of white with it. And I'm going to dry brush a highlight onto my leaves using that mixture. And it's a soft touch, and it's not a strong highlight. We're just going to soften the edges of this a little bit,
Okay.
like so.
Looks like hollyhocks are getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, I'm liking the ideas of the hollyhocks. Love hollyhocks.
Apple blossoms.
That's another one from back home. The Annapolis Valley is only a few hours from here, so that would be another nice one.
Orange tiger lilies.
Tiger lilies would be pretty.
Azaleas.
I love rhododendron. I've got tons of reference photos for that because I've got a great big rhododendron in my front flower bed. I love rhododendron too. So I've got nice little dry brushed highlight on my leaves. Nothing too over the top, just enough to make that soften that leaf a little bit. And then I'm going to take my plantation pine, just straight plantation pine, and I'm going to deepen that shadow one more time, right there. It just helps crisp things up, gives you a nice strong shadow where you need it. Nice and easy. And I have a little turnover in this leaf, and I'm just going to take a little of my plantation pine, and I'm just going to paint that solid plantation pine right there, just to fill in that flip. And I like to clean up the highlighted edges just a little bit, especially on this one here. Because of that turnover, I want a nice sharp line on this one. So I'm just putting in a little stroke of that olive green just along that top line to define it. There we go. Who's testing your patience? I know that's
Ron.
What'd she do now?
It's in reference to pussy willows. It would be hard to get the fuzzy part right.
It would be hard to get the fuzzy part right. Okay, so we have gotten our highlight in. We've done our shading on there. Now you can sit back. I call this adjusting the color because that's essentially what you're doing. So wherever you feel that you need to deepen a shadow, you'll know. You'll have a look at it and something won't look right. Go ahead and adjust a shadow. Now that could mean making it darker like it did in my center. My center was a little wonky. I needed it to be darker. But it could also mean adjusting a highlight. So wherever, if you have a shadow that is as dark as it can possibly get and it still doesn't look right, try adjusting your highlight on the opposite side. Just like what I'm doing here. So the minute I adjusted that highlight, my shadow in there appeared darker. So that's all I've done is I made that highlight a little brighter. And that is it. We are on to the lettering portion of this.
Do you ever do birds and butterflies with your flowers? Oh, hold on. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to change the camera to show her.
Look over my shoulder.
Flowers and birds.
Flowers and birds. I have an obsession with flowers and birds and butterflies and bugs, bees. I like.
Let's zoom in on mom here. Sorry. See, like birds, chickadees, all sorts of them.
Yeah, I like birds. But I think what she's talking about is painting a variety of birds. And yes, I do. I love painting birds. I don't do it often though, because I'm usually painting flowers because that's my first love. Okay, so I have, I've already traced my lettering on.
Sorry, I'm testing your patience.
Oh, he's much more patient than he lets on.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just teasing you.
Teacups. Yes, she's done teacups and birds.
I have like
What do
minor.
you got? You got 2 daffodils.
Yes, one with a teapot, one with a teacup.
And then one with tulips and one with daisies?
Yes. I like teacups. Sue me. So I'm using a number 2 rigger. I know you're all surprised by that.
No.
And I've loaded it with thinned warm white.
Don't move it too much. There we go. Zoom right in for you guys.
So I've tapped my brush flat so that it has a nice chisel edge, and I start at the top of the letter, press down to open it up, and then come back up onto the chisel edge.
Miss Crosby, are you trying to do the same thing?
Test your patience?
She just wanted to see if she could, bump it from a G rating to something a little bit more inappropriate. Been trying to paint a British blue tit.
Okay. Well,
Work in progress.
it's a work in progress.
But if it's actually the bird, I'd want to see it.
Yep.
Otherwise, I'd tell you to go see a doctor. Your teacups are amazing. Painted the Christmas teapot with the plaid.
I like that one. I like the Christmas ones. I know
Why do I remember that one?
I don't know.
The plaid teapot? Oh, okay, because it's right there. That's why I
You're
remember
staring
it.
at it.
No, it's a bird. Okay. I've been practicing my letters. Good. Gotta practice the letters. You're off screen. Thank you. Oh, perfect. That's perfect. Right there.
Right there? Okay.
I have the
I'm so
beautiful-
glad I could help.
Quince?
Quince.
I have this beautiful quince in my yard. The
Wow.
color is a deep shade of coral. It would be awesome painted by you. I'll send you a picture.
Please do.
You do that lettering so smoothly, I'm jealous.
Again, it comes down to practice, practice, practice. It's more about brush control than it is anything else.
We don't have chickadees? Oh, where do you live? Julie Crosby. Oh, she's in the UK, isn't she?
And I think they have chickadees over there.
She's...
She may not have them in her local area.
Yeah.
We have an abundance of the little beggars.
Yeah. I don't like
I
chickadees.
love them. I love them. I think they're so cute.
I do not like chickadees. They're annoying.
It's like your dad doesn't like crickets.
You tore that place up looking for that thing.
He had a cricket in the garage one time, and the thing was so noisy it nearly drove him insane. It was rather entertaining.
What about hummingbirds?
Hummingbirds. We have
There's
little
a few.
green. We have green ones here. They're so pretty,
They're fast.
and yeah. But we won't see those guys for a little while yet. It's a little too early.
I'm late. I had an SDP chapter meeting, Illinois Heartland Decorative Artists.
Well, I'm glad you came. It is recorded, so if you've missed anything, you'll be able to catch up. So, again, I know that this is a little repetitious because we've done this background and this series so much, but this lettering, it like I say, it's more about brush control than anything else. and using the right brush is key. And this one, because of the way it's shaped with that, even though it looks like a liner brush, that it comes to a chisel edge as opposed to a point, like a round or a liner would. That's what makes all the difference in this, is that ability to flatten that brush out. So you can see it comes to a square tip. So I can pull that and produce a square edge. And when it's nicely flat on the chisel edge, I can get a fine line, press down, open the brush up, bring it back up onto the chisel edge. So it gives me the ability to do lettering very smoothly and very easily because the paint comes off this brush smoothly. And it does not come to a point, it comes to a chisel edge. So I have control. But that control comes with practice. So the more often that you sit down with a piece of painted board, just take a piece of painted cardboard, mark off a 1-inch space, and then just practice, just printing, so that you get the hang of how much you have to press down on that brush to open it up. And then switch to doing things like this. You will find that your lettering will improve dramatically the more often you do this. That is the key to painting lettering with a brush. It's about the brush control. Now, I use riggers, but there's nothing to stop you from using a flat brush if you want to practice on a larger surface until you get that movement down, until you get the pressure right, until you get the movement right. That's what takes the time, is just learning how to control your brush. It's the same with floating. Floating is about brush control, learning how much water is in your brush, learning how much pressure you need on the brush, how much control you need to get into tight spots. That's what it's about, is learning to control your brush.
We kept looking for a cricket in the basement. Turns out it was a smoke detector. Change the battery.
So that is it. That is our gardenia. That one worked up fairly quickly, fairly easily. Now from here, I would erase all of my graphite lines, get rid of all of that. That if you're looking and seeing any rough areas on the lettering and whatnot, that's what it is. It's just simply the graphite lines that you're seeing.
Well, that light is really hitting that 24 karat gold.
Yep, it is popping it right out.
Yep.
The next thing that I would do, I like to spatter these things a little bit. I didn't want to spatter this one or any of them with asphaltum, but this one is spattered with a little bit of that 24 karat gold. Now, if you want to really create more depth, take a little bit of lamp black. I've got a little bit here someplace. I'm going to use a little bit of carbon for this. So I just want to set this stencil back a little bit from that flower so that it looks like the flower is in front of it. And it just creates that little definition. And it gives it a little more depth. Exactly.
Depth. Yep.
So that little float of the lamp black or the carbon black over top of that gold, just separating the flower from that gold. I would do the same thing down here because remember I've got a little stencil detail.
One of my big problems is I just want to wanting to get at it instead of practicing.
Yep. But you learn by doing, and the more often you paint, the better you get at it. Yeah. That's the fact of the matter is, the more often you paint, the better you get at it. Brush control comes with time and practice, and the more you paint, the better. So whenever you're choosing pieces to paint, make sure you choose something that's got, a little bit of lettering in it, a little bit of shading in it, a little bit of highlighting in it, so that you get to use those skill sets throughout the piece. So that's it. That's Gardenia. This one is so simple and so easy. Here I am. I'm back. Ta-da. This one was fun. Have you chosen our winners yet?
No.
He's been gabbing so much.
I've been reading the chat.
And reading chat.
I've been reading chat. All right, give me a second. You can tell them more about the membership program or something.
Oh, yeah, I can do that. So you guys have been really great. You've been so supportive. I mean, even, you have the ability to click out of those ads that run on this channel. And a lot of you aren't doing that, and we appreciate it because, I mean, those little ads actually pay our channel a little bit. We're talking pennies, but the more often you watch, we've been setting those resources, those sources, those payments aside so that we could upgrade our equipment. So we finally hit the point where we could get a new camera. So we've got a brand new camera coming in. We've got 2 new cameras coming in. One already came, the other one is delayed. But we've got some more equipment coming in, which means that we get to improve the quality of the imagery. We get to improve the quality of the videos. And it gives us a lot more time because currently the cameras that we're running have to be charged. So we're running off of iPads and iPhones and whatnot. So now we're going to have dedicated cameras just for this. And
no more batteries.
No more batteries. They'll be high resolution. Everything will be plugged into the computers. We have better software, and that's because of you guys. You guys have been supporting us doing this right from the very beginning, and we're coming up on a year in June, end of June, I think it is. And I mean, we get to continue doing this and doing more because you guys have been coming back and watching it. We really do appreciate it. The membership program is another way that we're looking at supporting this and doing that because that generates some income, and we want to put it back into this so that we can do more. We really want to be able to upgrade a lot of things so that it improves things. I mean, we've got quite a space going here with lighting and cameras and all kinds of cool stuff in here, but it's as we go, we're discovering that our needs change, and then we want to do more, and we can't do more with what we have, so we have to upgrade some more. So this was the first big step, was putting in these new cameras, and so we're really excited about that. So by the time this membership thing launches, all of those new cameras should be up and running. So we're excited about that. And the membership program just means that we're able to do more, we can focus more, and we can do more, we can offer you more, which is exciting. So the patterns that you're getting in this are not going to be a standard, like an e-packet, where it's 8 or 9 pages. These ones are going to be substantially more than that. They're going to be quite substantial because we're going to go more in depth. We're going to add more pages, more line drawings, more options in those patterns. So we really wanted to make sure that if you are going to be paying to play and paint with me, that you're going to get something out of it. That's my goal. I want you to come away with everything that we can possibly give you. And so we're excited about it. And
if you painted the Gardenia, send it to our Facebook.
Yes,
I love seeing
it. Put it up on my Facebook page. I love seeing whatever you paint. I get really excited when you guys send me pictures of the things you paint. I love it. It means that you're listening and you're learning and you're having fun with it, and that just gets me. Oops! Don't smash the mic, Trace. It gets me right here. So, not in the mic. It just gets me here.
Okay,
the heart.
price.
Okay, I get to pick a price?
Pick a price.
Okay, so let's go with the Craftgasm bag.
Craftgasm bag?
Craftgasm.
Miss K. Reynolds.
K. Reynolds gets the Craftgasm bag. That's K. There's mini stencil, and there's a gel pen in there, and my favorite Factus black eraser, and then you get that great little tote that you can put all your favorite painting and art supplies in. That one is to K. Reynolds.
Robin Storm. I already painted it.
The next one is this great surface from Southern Ridge Trading.
That is Leslie Murillo.
What is it?
Leslie Murillo.
Murillo. So Leslie Murillo, you've got this great little surface coming to you. And the 3-brush set of the encaustic brushes. These are the natural bristle.
Jean Marshall.
Jean Marshall. So
she's in
ladies, go to the first page, front page of my website, and down in the lower right-hand corner, there's a little speech bubble. Click on that, send us a message with your shipping information, and your goodies will go out to you on Monday morning. Awesome sauce. Well, guys, again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming to play every Saturday. It means that I'm not sitting here by myself making a mess. I have some friends along for the ride. It means I get to spend some time with Wingnut over here,
Hello.
you know. And
What happened?
like I said,
What's going on?
he hasn't forgotten when to go pee. That's a good thing. And he's litter trained, thank heavens.
I don't think the cats would like that.
No, I don't think they would.
Ow, my knee.
Can you pull one more name?
Can I pull one more name?
Grab one more name. I'm going to send the finished piece to.
Well, you should send it to Linda.
I should. But Linda painted it.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. I think she painted it. Linda, did you paint it?
We'll find
Probably. But I think we should pull a name.
out. We should pull a name?
Yeah.
All right, give me a second.
He's going to pull a name. He's going to pull one more name, and we're going to send the piece from today to you. I'll finish it up. Put the spatter and the varnish and whatnot. We'll finish it up and send it out to you. He's looking. I'm watching his head move. So aside from all of that, keep your eyes peeled for that membership program. Keep your eyes peeled for
Really?
the piece we're painting next week. Yay!
Really?
I can't find the piece we're painting next week. It's
Well.
here somewhere. Anyway, I'll post a picture of it. And I think that's about it. Unless
Miss Jessica Killeran.
Jessica Killeran. Okay, Jessica, we're going to finish this up for you. And we're going to get that out in the mail to you. To everybody, thanks again so much for everything. You guys are awesome. I'm glad that you're enjoying this and having fun. And if you have suggestions for classes, I am always open to suggestions. I would love to hear what you would like to learn. So by all means, you want to send me off a message with an idea, please do that. But until then, you guys stay safe. Mwah. Love you. We'll see you again next week.